Who's your emergency contact? Who should we notify in the case of death? Welcome to the USP, where I spent the last 2+ decades of my life. Right now, we're in Atwater, and I'm just taking you through the journey with me. On this particular day, we were in the kitchen. I think maybe at dinner. We were in the kitchen at dinner. And while me and Bryson was sitting down, this Midwest dude just came off the bus. His name is Uwe. I don't know his real name. That's what they call him, Uwe. But we see him over there. He just came off the bus, and word's been buzzing about him, before he got there. So when he came into the kitchen, we see him sit down there with the Midwest. And Bryson tells me, "Hey, bro, that one guy right there, bro, he killed my good friend in Victorville." Now, I already knew the story because of my cellie, Semi Heffa. He came from Victorville, and he became my cellie over there in Victorville. Me and Bryson, we lived in the same unit, but Bryson lived in his own cell, and I lived in my own cell. And then when Semi came, I took Semi as my cellie. So Semi already told me about what was going on with Uwe and the Islander homie that was over there in Victorville. So we're in the kitchen, but I didn't really think none of it because I didn't know that Bryson knew the guy that died. So when we're sitting down eating, and that Midwest dude comes into the kitchen, I can see Bryson just watching him the whole time. And then Bryson tells me, "Hey, bro, that guy killed my good friend over in Victorville." So I looked at Bryson. I know the story, but I don't think Bryson knows the whole story yet. But I'm just watching, and Bryson tells me, "Hey, bro, I want to go talk to that guy, bro." I said, "No." And I told Bryson, "Not yet." I said, "Why don't you go talk to Semi first? And then if you still want to go holler at this dude, then we'll do what we got to do." Because you have to understand, Uwe's from the Midwest. So the Midwest, they have a coalition. That's, Ohio, St. Louis. I'm not sure Missouri's part of that. But in an extension, a lot of dudes that come from the Midwest are GDs and vice lords. So there's a chain of alliance that, spread across, the whole yard. So if we're going to make a move on this dude from the Midwest, Uwe, then it's not going to be isolated. So if we're going to do that, then we have to make sure we plot and plan and get it done right. Because if we hit him, the Midwest going to jump in, and the extension, all the other associates and alliance that everybody has. So it's going to be a clusterfuck. But like I said, if the homies feel, adamant about taking some type of action for whatever particular issue, my job as a homie is just to aid and assist. But at the same time, I always want the homies to make sure that they're doing things for the right reason. So all Bryson knows is that this dude from the Midwest killed one of his classmate friends, childhood friends, over there in USP Victorville. I know the story, but it's not my place to tell Bryson the story because I wasn't there. But my cellie, Semi, was there. So I told Bryson, I said, "Hey, let's just kick back. Let's go back to the unit. I want you to talk to my cellie first." And me and Bryson, we're good friends. And Bryson is not the type of person that says a lot. And he knows I don't speak just to run my mouth. So if I say something to him, ask him to kick back, listen to something first, he respects it. So we get up out of the kitchen and we leave and we go back to the unit. So when we go back to the unit, I tell Semi, I say, "Hey, you need to go ahead and tell Bryson this story before Bryson puts himself in jeopardy over something that he shouldn't." So the story goes that was related to me from my cell he sent me is that in Victorville, Uwe and an Islander went into a cell and they had a knife fight in the cell. And at the end of that knife fight, the Islander dude got killed. But how that transpired was Bryson's homie or childhood friend, yeah, he's an Asian Islander or whatever, but in all account, this is not to smear his name because I don't know him. And I don't even know, I can't even remember his real name that, the story that I'm telling you about. But from everything I gather, he was a piece of shit. He was in there with a couple other homies, other Asian homies, little guys, little Asian dudes. And he was always punking them, extorting them, just being a bully. Because he was on that dope. So when he gets on that dope and he runs up his bills or whatever, he'll go and take shit from the other homies. And at the end of the day, he was just a piece of shit. But one of them Asian dudes, I don't know them. And I don't understand, why they allowed this dude to do that to him without them butchering him themselves. Like I said, before I came into the system, a lot of these Asians didn't have a good reputation. So when I got there, a couple people, different cars or whatever, try to perceive me as the same as these other dudes. But then, when they ran into me, they realized that, hey, I'm not one of these pushover Asian dudes. And through the course of my time being in the penitentiary, I worked on building up the reputation of the homies. Because I tell them this, I keep it real simple. If somebody disrespects you, hit them in the mouth. Because I don't want you coming to tell me, hey, this guy disrespected me. This guy said this guy did this, this guy did that. Because I'm just going to look at you like you're a little bitch. If this guy really disrespected you, why ain't his jaw broke? It's a difference if, hey, maybe this guy's too big for me and I can't handle it on my own, so can you come and help me? No problem. I'll aid and assist all day. But don't come and crying to me about somebody disrespecting you. Because if his jaw ain't broken and you allow him to disrespect you, all you're doing is telling me that you're a little bitch. Maybe that keeps them from coming to tell me, whenever they get punked or whatnot. But that's my mentality. And that's how I carried it, because at the end of the day, bullies, they just want an easy mark. They don't want to fight. They just want somebody that's just passive, that's going to allow them to do what they do. But if you show them that you're going to fight, win or lose, if you show them that you're willing and you're going to fight and stand up for yourself, whether that first time you get beat up, you get the shit end of the stick or not, the second time, there's not going to be one, because they're going to respect you. And if they don't, then you keep going, doing whatever is necessary until they respect you. So how Uwe got involved was, Uwe was good friends with some of these Asian dudes that was over there. And Uwe kept watching and seeing what this fucking Islander was doing and got fed up with it. So he called the island out to go into a cell with them. They went in the cell and they stabbed each other up. And Uwe got the best of them and killed him. So when Bryson was finally told that story, his demeanor kind of changed a little bit. Like he didn't know that his friend was a piece of shit. All he knew was the guy that he grew up with out in the islands from Y9 or wherever he grew up with him. Maybe he was in juvie. But when he realized what was going on, I asked him, I said, what you want to do, bro? He goes, oh, bro, it sounds like Uwe was defending the homies, the other homies that weren't defending themselves. And at the end of the day, I emphasize in these videos, in these episodes, is that men recognize men. We respect if you're doing what you're supposed to do, regardless who you're going up against. If you're doing things on principles, we have no choice but to respect that. So nothing happened. Bryson let it go because Bryson doesn't want to. So if Bryson goes and do something, he's going to end up killing this dude. And if he kills this dude, he's going to get another life sentence, more time. But for what? Over a piece of shit. And I made those points to him because still it was Bryson's childhood friend. It was hard for him to let go, letting this other dude kill him and get away with it. But at the end of the day, I asked him, we put our lives on the line every day out here. We're on the front line when shit transpires with the homies, when there's an issue. It's always me and you on the front line. And we're willing to catch more time. We're willing to risk our life, our freedom, disappoint our family at home, all that for our loyalty and our love for the homies. But do you really want to do that over a piece of shit? Do you really want to put your life out there, risk catching another case, risk catching a body over a piece of shit? And at the end of the day, Bryson saw it the way I saw it. And over the course of time, we got to know Uwe. And Uwe and I became pretty good friends. Now, we were just causing havoc over there in Florence before I left. But, that's for anybody. A lot of times people change. A lot of times the person you used to know when you were kids aren't the same person now. But you always want to believe that, hey, this person is still that kind, that generous, that humble individual, or fun-loving, or whatever it is that he was a kid. And you might not want to even contemplate, accept, or acknowledge that this dude might be a piece of shit. That your friend that's sitting next to you right now is a scumbag. You make excuses for him because he's your friend, because you grew up together, because you have love for him. And you're willing to do things for them that you probably shouldn't, because that individual, this so-called friend, ain't really deserving of it. Everybody, we always want friends that are loyal, friends that are trustworthy, friends that are dependable. But I tell my homeboys, if these are the kind of friends that you want, then it's upon us to make sure we're that kind of friend too. And if you're that person that has integrity, that is trustworthy, that's loyal, that's dependable, expect those same things from the people around you. And if these people around you aren't showing you that they are these type of individuals, then you got to cut them loose. Because if you don't, it's just going to cost you headaches. And at the end of the day, it could be detrimental to your health and your well-being. I repeat on here all the time that you hear me, that we can't waste tears on busters. We can't give our heart, our life to these busters that don't deserve it. Because us, as men, as women, we have standards. We don't violate kids. We don't violate women. We don't tell on people. Welcome to the USP.